أعزائي المشاهدين، كما عودناكم في برنامجكم الأسبوعي برنامج إماراتي، أن نستضيف لكم خيرة من دولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة. ولهذا الأسبوع نستضيف السيد جوفاني، المدير التنفيذي والمؤسس لشركة بلازولي في إمارة دبي. Good afternoon, Mr. Giovanni.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you. I would like to know who is Giovanni and when he came to United Arab Emirates.
I'm Italian origins, you can tell from my accent, and I came the first time here in the region in the early 2000s, late 1990s. It was for a completely different business. And we start investing here in Dubai with this operation we are in today, which is Palazzoli Middle East, in 2017. So we are quite new in terms of a business setup here in the UAE. Despite we've been through the parent company in Italy, Palazzoli, dealing in UAE since probably 1970s, 1980s.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Let us know more about Palazzoli and why they plan to start their own branch in 2017 United Arab Emirates.
After decades in dealing with the region, from Italy back and forwards, trying to achieve our goals, trying to serve our customers, there was clearly a need to improve our networking. Networking both on customers' relationship, of course, but also understanding better what was the needs of the market in terms of installations. We do produce low voltage products, which are mostly focused for commercial and industrial applications. And it's really crucial for us to understand not only the adherence of the products to the international standards, but also what are the aspects which makes products unique for applications within certain countries. One example for all, which is very simple and I think is quite easy to understand for most of the audience, which is not technically in electrical, because of the weather you have here, wiring cables in the region, it means that you have to use bigger sizes of cables according to at the same rated current. So that means you need more spaces. You need bigger terminal blocks and then wiring spaces. So if you come here with a product which in Europe is perfect and it fits for purpose, it might not work for the area. So you need to adapt, even if the standards are not telling you this, because basically the standards are telling you, you have to develop these according to X, Y, Z, but those standards are product related, not installation related. So having this network locally, it has changed a lot the dynamics for us. We are collecting a lot of feedbacks through the staff we have here, and the staff we have here are supporting the customers locally. And what we call the engineering and specifiers people, where those are people who are designing at the first stage a project.
The manufacturer.
On the design stage. So you have a new factory to build, there will be an M&E company designing everything, and they need support from us as well to understand what we can supply and how they can adapt what is existing to the needs they have for that specific applications. So the real leverage and the trigger for us to be here locally was really to enhance this type of relationship. And honestly, thanks to the good people we found during the years here, we saw this progress happening day by day, year on year. And since then, honestly, it's been an investment where we always thought it was worth what is developing and what it will develop for us in the future.
Always the investors, they look for what the saving or what the percentage of saving.
For us, it's different being here. For us, here is accessibility to market. Saving it can come part of the equation, because at the end of the day, developing the right product for the right applications means that you are not doing or over-engineering things, and then you're asking for a higher price when the over-engineering is not required. For us, here is really having access to the market, having access to the stakeholders which are making certain type of decisions. And also, I should say, speaking the language, not in terms of Arabic, I'm afraid, but speaking the language of how the things has been done here. So the vicinity to where the products are used and installed is a crucial point for us. Without that, you'll become one of the many which is trying to come and sell products in the region as a Me Too type of applications.
And what certificates or awards you have for the product?
Well, we have different certificates according to the type of products. Some examples, there are certifications which are related to explosion-proof areas. And typical example of explosion-proof areas, most of the people might think are oil and gas, not only. You have explosion hazards as well in food industry. You have explosion hazards as well in chemical plants which produce pharmaceuticals and drugs. You have explosion-proof hazards in charging areas where the ventilation is not guaranteed because of how the build is being built. So there are different areas where less obvious things happen, and we have certifications for this type of applications under the EX or IEC-EX. Other type of certifications we do are related to, another example, marine applications, where you need to follow certain standards to be installed and used on shipbuilding. And shipbuilding is all about durability and withstanding to high vibrations, high mechanical shocks. Therefore, all the products has to go through a thorough examinations from third-party laboratories. And then there are a plethora of different standards that we need to adhere from the product point of view. And then there are standards that we need to adhere as a business. And of course, we are ISO 9001 certified, 45001, 14001. And these will allow us as a business not only to control through a business management system, not only to control the manufacturing process, which was typically the 9001 approach, but also anything which is related to wealth, employees, and waste management, ESG, and so forth.
And how you select the team who will provide the services also, or you just selling the product?
No, we do have basically two arms. One is selling products, but most of the products which we are selling are based on, call it a consultancy, because there is this type of relationship where we are designing most of the time the products together with the customer. So, and there are two typical examples here. One is lighting applications, where you have to illuminate an area and you want to make sure that the lighting is equally spread and illuminates the area that needs to be illuminated without wasting as well lighting for nothing. And therefore we design a lighting scheme which will be used to create the specifications of the project. Another example is also to design a bespoke, custom-made distribution box, where, I give you an example which we did here in Dubai, where we supplied in the past some items which was used in the Jebel Ali port for supplying the refrigerated containers. And those products were customized for the needs of the Port Authority. The same thing happened, for instance, for the Dubai Metro, where we supplied simple junction boxes. But those were all customized according to the needs of the designer which was designing your metro, which there is not only the human element, but there is also the technical element of the metro to run, which goes beyond the train. So all the signaling and all these parts which needs to be interconnected. Right. So that's what we have done in the past.
Let us know more about the priority of Palazzoli Middle East?
So our priority is basically we are the commercial arm of the head office.
Great.
So our priority is really to engage with the interested parties, which can be the ultimate customers or the people who are designing projects which can include our products. And how this happened? It happened through networking. It happened to understand as well the market channels. The region is diverse enough to find different type of supply channels according to the different areas you are referring to. So one of the big mistakes that you might do is to approach this region like one size may fit all. Wrong, okay? For us is really tailoring made everything we do in understanding the two big key elements, networking and market channels. And PME, Palazzoli Middle East, goal is really understanding this, trying to lead at the forefront of innovation as well. We have quite a substantial R&D happening in our head office. And sometimes when you do innovative products, those products need to be communicated in the marketplace for the people to adopt them for the good reasons. Sometimes there are standards which are pushing you to use a new different type of products, which there is no if or but because you have to go by the standards, right, the regulations. But sometimes there are improvements on products which makes the product safer, durable, resilient, friendly as well for the installers. Yes, you are perfectly right.
And if we talk, Mr. Giovanni, about the demand of the markets in the Middle East, not in UAE only, and the competitor here, or the competition, how you see it?
It's a mixed bag, really. So you have to layer probably the different levels of competitors. And I'm dividing these by country of origin of the goods, okay? Not because the country of origin will make a big difference, but it gives you a little bit of the macro areas. The macro areas are competitors which are coming from, let's say, Europe/USA, so let's say Europe, United States or Canada. Then you have all the block of competitors coming from Asia. And then recently, I would say in the last probably 3 to 5 years, you have some local competitors which are start developing as well, because you did so much in pushing as well the entrepreneurship locally, where now some competitors are naturally born and developing as well locally. So for each of these three layers, maybe there are a few others, but let's stick with these three, there is a clear factor which comes into place. With Europeans, Americans is really all about the fit for purpose and sometimes also to understand that some of our competitors in certain areas of the world are not masking products coming from those regions with a strange made in, okay, I'm afraid. But let's say in normal circumstances, we are all playing in the same bulk game, which is really focusing ourselves in innovations, focusing ourselves in quality of the products. Then we are moving to the Asian area, where normally is used for price fighting type of options. But again, there are quite serious players from the area, which we consider to be honestly rising stars, which you need to watch carefully and understand as well how they will develop or they are developing their market presence in the region. And these type of people at the moment, they're leveraging other type of, let's say, route to markets than we do, okay? And which is mostly related to more working on the back side of supplying a particular project at the 11th hour, which means the project has been defined, is all specified, we will start then doing some quantitative exercise in reducing costs. And then there are the local ones. The local ones, honestly, surprised me. What I saw when I was here last time, a month ago, is also the quality of the local manufacturing is picking up very, very, very well. So the local manufacturing and the local skills, both in assembling and in designing, is really getting better and better all the time.
What do you see, or how you see the vision of Palazzoli? What the next? What you want to add on as a technology more, or in AI way? What you hope for that?
We have a branch of the business which is very traditional, electromechanic. In electromechanic, the real innovation can come from different way of applying the existing principles. And I give you one example for all.
Sure.
We did recently design a unique product which is very hard to explain, but is a switch socket, industrial, like the one you have on your wall with a switch, okay? But is for industrial applications, so quite big, very bulky, for high current. And we managed to basically integrate and minimize the size of it, that now, before it was a box of, let's say, I would say 40 centimeters by 20 centimeters, now is all in a bulk socket, which is probably 15 centimeters by 20 centimeters in length. So this was a big innovation because we can now switch sockets as well. Easy. It can be at the end of a lead. So if you have a lead, a trailer on the floor, it can be switched at the end. So there will be no constant power at the end of the lead. So that was an innovation, which is more traditional electromechanical. Then there is all the elements which goes on lighting. Lighting is a completely different type of product, where lighting has more interaction with humans, because you use lighting to live and to make your job. We are in an office which is partially naturally lit, but partially artificially lit. Right. In lighting, there are different technology which are coming along. LED was the last disruptions which happened recently in lighting. But what we find our strength in is in how we use LEDs. We are one of the few companies in which can supply certain type of warranty and guarantees about the life terms on the LED applied within our lighting fixture, which basically allowed us to be awarded on quite interesting projects where the specifications in terms of durability, lifetime, it was quite extreme. So this was, again, is a combination of old engineering, okay, so heat sinks, with the modern technology of LED. On the top of this, we are seeing a clear swing in public lighting to become more and more smart. So public lighting, like in the street, to be able to work seamlessly and communicating to each other to decide how to illuminate a particular street according to the ambience levels of luminaires.
And if we talk about the saving?
Oh, and savings in terms of energy as well, yes. Because lighting...
The percentage maybe it can be...
Oh, it is very hard to say.
Around nearly number?
You can have anything between 30 to 50, 45, 50%. I give you an example. If you take a street light during the night, we want light to feel safe, okay, and also to see what we do in case, okay. So, but there are portions of the night where this particular area, which is illuminated, it doesn't need to be illuminated. There is no human beings, there is nothing happening there. There are no cars driving. So at the end of the day, what you do, you're trying to dim, if you can, or even
moving, it will be
even off. Or if something is moving, it will start going up. And when you also start going up, depending what is coming into the in the environment. If it's an animal, you don't need to illuminate. Right. If it's a human being, you need a certain level of light. If it's a car, you need another different level of light. Right. If it's a super dark night, you need a certain type of lumina. If it's okay, it doesn't happen here very often, except a month ago when I was here. If it's raining, you have a different type of reflection as well from the street. So, and plus, through this smart lighting, you can also understand how is the traffic, eventually. So, what is the amount? What is the amount of cars driving through that particular highway and that particular time of the day? And then you might start deciding as well to divert certain type of traffic outside or inside, if you understand what I mean, you know?
Yeah, I got it. Let us to know more about the warranty or after-sales services. Where we will find Palazzoli after-sales services. That's important to give more trust also for your customer.
For us, there are 3 very important moments during our sales process. And the one you mentioned, which is the after sales, is as important for us as the pre-sales one. Both of them, they requires a lot. Okay, the second one, it happen only if you have, let's say, call it troubles, okay? Or you're in need of clarifications. But both of them, they require anyway quite an engineering understanding, not only of the product, but of its applications. So on the third stage, after sales, we have both people here locally and in Italy and in the UK, which are taking care about anything which is coming back from the market. Likely enough, touching wood, okay. Inshallah, we always historically had very, very little happening in after sales, honestly. The majority of the issues is really on how to operate a product more than anything else.
Are you training them?
Sorry?
You give it some training?
Oh yes, there are, okay, talking about training, there is a training which is related to how to use the product. But there is also a training which is related more on the pre-sales, i.e. how the product works and how can be used effectively once it's installed. We do believe a lot in training. We train internal people, we train in customers. Our facility here is a small office, but we try to build in a way that we can have a showroom which is not only to show what you do, but also to put your hands on and understand how you can interact with the products once it's installed. And this sometimes it helps, because just imagine you have a customer with a trouble in the field. Nowadays, what is better than a WhatsApp call or a FaceTime where you show the product live and you can do this and that, you know? So we take care about these aspects in various ways. Sometimes you need to communicate formally, because there are certain type of steps that you need to make sure people are thoroughly following before commissioning a product. And sometimes you can try to troubleshoot over things like a WhatsApp or a FaceTime. And this works quite well, honestly. Most of the engineering capabilities are divided between Italy and the UK. In here we have sales engineers. So they have some they have a sales background with some engineering skills. If the problem becomes too complex, it goes immediately back to the interested engineers, rather in London or in Brescia.
We will talk about the important part, which we will talk about your back support or your backbone. Who support you today to be one of, say, in the Middle East, one of leaders in the Middle East, in your main work?
Me personally, you mean? I think I've been in this business for 16 years. And I found very, very useful the approach which is we are a privately owned business. So basically we report back to a board of directors, and the board of directors is mostly made by, let's say, the investors. And the chairman of the business and his son, which is now directly involved in the recent 5-7 years in the business, they really support us here heavily in different aspects, honestly. There is the guidance, which is helping you to develop, call it the vision and the guidance for the next years to come. And they work quite well as a sounding board, where you can freely discuss different options of what is going on in your mind to achieve those outcomes, and coming with your own solutions and having a very constructive conversation, which to me is crucial. So I would say that the big support, it comes from the board of directors, which most of them, I would say all of them, are executives within the businesses we have in Europe and here in Middle East.
And Mr. Giovanni, if today we would like to know more about employees or your people who work with you, what the strategy to select them, and also how you're training them?
Okay. I'm normally trying to employ people from trying to understand their will, okay? I'm not a kind of person that, if you're not coming from the industry, I'm not interested, okay? I'm more interested in understanding what is motivating the individual to be in that position. And I'm normally spending quite a good chunk of time at the beginning of the interview explaining to the person I have in front of me what we are trying to achieve as a business. Then I'm interested in to understand not the history of yourself, but what your experience can support our goals.
What they will add.
Exactly. And then I tell you, in my own experience, one of the best employees we had in the past in terms of performance in sales, he wasn't here in UAE, but he was in a different region. Believe it or not, he was coming from dairy products. Completely different, okay? But he was very successful. Why? Because he had the right behavior.
You want to understand.
He saw it, and he stayed with us for probably 10 years. Now he moved on. And I think also for a business like us, the goal when you're employing someone, and now we're coming to the training side, is always pity to lose a resource in the business. It's always pity to lose a good colleague in the business. But if this person is leaving the business by having achieved two things: A, created value within the business, and B, having developed an enhanced professionality, which will take him to another level, maybe not within this group, maybe somewhere else, I think we did the job. Because we took a lot from them, but they took as well a lot from us. And to me, there is nothing, as I said, it's sad to see people leaving, but if you see them thriving in a new job, and you being one of the enabler for them to grow up, job done, you know?
Right.
And normally, if you give, you receive, you know? It's really a give and take type of situation.
Yeah, you are right. I'm sure you are right for that. If you give, you will receive it.
I think so. I'm a strong
Mr.
believer.
Giovanni, today we are staying in United Arab Emirates, one of the top country in the world from the safety and security, which help us to invest and to live together in peaceful, more than 200 nationality, but we support each other and we live together. Maybe we have some challenge or we have some competition in the business, but at the end of the day, we are there for each other. Today, if you have a message to the UAE government and leaders for really a peaceful country, a safe country, which help us to grow and to live with our family, what you would say for the UAE government and leaders as a successful businessman?
I think, first of all, I have to recognize to the UAE leaders that they enabled a unique system, which became an ecosystem, I should say, okay? An ecosystem which is really allowing businesses not only to thrive if they find the right route to market and they put all their ducks in a row in the right way, but also to experiment and to be in the market with different potential disruptive type of products, services. So what I give without any doubt to the UAE leaders is to have created this unique ecosystem. Agile, very, very much adaptable to the changes which are happening in the world. What I can say for the future is very hard, honestly. You did such a good job so far, so is keep doing more than what you have done. I think for a peaceful country, you know, I think as is happening now in at least in the businesses which I'm following, we need to become more and more and more inclusive as businesses and therefore as nations, and understanding better the needs of the different type of people we are engaging with. And I think that's the big challenge, I think, is really how as a business, how as a nation, we can become more inclusive for the different people which generate the value and the wealth of the business and the country. That's really tricky. And plus, I think the big thing nowadays is really there are different type of concerns, you know. We move between cycles. Now we are in the cycles of AI and how AI will change and shape our life. I think UAE, being agile as it's been so far, it should and it can become a forefront leading country as well on how to regulate and manage all the risks that such as important technology can bring to us, because there is a huge chunk of opportunity with a chunk of risks. Whoever will try to find a way to blend the two in a very good way, absolutely, you're gonna nail it. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Giovanni, for your time.
No, thank you for having me.
Of Palazzoli in United Arab Emirates, we wish for you all the best and more of success.
دفوتها لها غير وترحبهم